right, go ahead. Go ahead. Dad, just start. Just talk. I'll do the intro later. Go.
No, that's okay.
Oh,
Go
good
ahead.
Lord.
You can intro.
Nope.
I'll let you do that.
No.
No. So Bud Larson, you were told he was getting married.
Yeah,
You were
well, that's where I meant sweetness. Where is she? Ruth, we're online. Hey, Ruth.
So
She's
you're
probably in the backyard hanging clothes up.
probably.
Yeah, she does that.
She does. She still does the laundry. Yeah.
No, I mean she hangs it
Oh
outside.
yeah.
She hangs
Saves
it.
electricity.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that as a kid. I just that fresh linen off the like a bed sheet, like
Yeah.
a fresh bed. Off
But
the laundry.
but see, he's responsible for the laundry now since he's retired, so that's never gonna happen.
It
No,
ends up in the machine, huh?
Yes, it does. I am pro machine.
Totally machine oriented.
I would. I mean, I guess I would. I don't know. They need to develop a machine that makes that do that.
No.
And smell the same without
No.
chemicals.
You know what you need?
What?
You need some clothes posts with clothesline.
Mhm.
And then you get these little clipper things. And you clip the clothes on
Okay,
it.
I have a question.
There
Yes.
she is.
Do I have to dress for this? Because I'm in my duster.
You're fine.
No, most people just listen.
We're only gonna see your face and your like neck, anyways.
Okay.
Have a seat, Ruth.
Oh, I'll be right back.
Oh, she's going to be right back.
Give me right back. So, Dad, you were in the Army. Your buddy was Bud Larson, and
Bud Larson was back in Chicago.
okay,
And I was told when I was in the Army that he's getting married. So the question was to me, will you move over, Ruth? You're not in the picture, see?
Oh,
There you are.
there you go. Hi, Ma.
I could be, we had AI doctor appointment. Dad and I, we go together now. And doctor said, can we do AI? Yeah, sure. Well, Dad's up first, right? So Doc's asking questions and couldn't remember something. And I chimed in. And AI says, is there another person in the room? Hello?
Oh, it didn't know, so it was.
Yeah, so it was
I
HIPAA.
didn't know
Oh,
I was
yeah.
there. But when I responded, the voice told it that somebody else is there.
And it needed to know who you were and how you're related because of HIPAA.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, scary. Anyway, hi.
Hi. Well, you know what? I wrote a whole intro out, and we already started recording because Dad started talking about stories, and I wanted to get it recorded. So I'm gonna go ahead and give out the intro because I even wrote it. I wrote it all out, and we'll go from there. You guys cool with that?
Cool.
Whatever
All
you
right.
say.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to RnR Studios Podcast. We have a very special show today because the two people sitting across from me on the screen are two very special people. Everyone, give a warm welcome to Jim and Ruth Deneen, more commonly known as Dad and Mom. Dad and Mom, please say hello to the world forever.
Hi.
Hello, world.
Hello, world.
So,
howdy doody.
yeah, it's howdy doody time, damn right. Mom, before you got in here, Dad was talking about how long you guys have been together, married. What was the anniversary this year?
He didn't remember?
He
No.
did. He
Oh,
did. He told us.
Okay, because he has in the past, he's not remembered. 60.
Okay. He got it, Ma. He was telling us.
Right.
Yeah.
He said 60
I
years
rehearsed
ago.
this.
I had to call him yesterday morning, okay? Yesterday morning, he couldn't remember. Amen.
So,
Right.
what?
I'm not good until I have that first cup of coffee.
Me neither.
Yeah, I'm the same way, I guess, but with other things. Yes. So, what's the secret?
What's the secret of what? Oh, being married this long?
Faith.
Yeah.
Patience.
What'd she say?
Patience.
Ruth, what'd you say?
Okay.
I said faith.
Okay.
And he said patience.
Okay. That makes sense. Ma thinks it's going to get better. Dad's like, I will.
If he waits long enough, right?
Yeah. If I take time to think about what I'm saying, what stupid things I'm saying, yeah.
Oh, I hear
Right.
that.
Yeah.
I hear-
What's in your cup?
What's in your cup?
Huh?
Uh-huh.
Water?
Okay.
That's what I got.
So he said
Yeah.
you met at a wedding, but I want to know exactly how you met. Like,
Oh,
the dog is pulling on me.
He met me at a wedding.
Yes.
We went to the same school, grammar school, St. Catherine's. My sister was 2 years older than I was. She was in his class. And that's how I came to know him, because we would talk, and she actually had a crush on him. So I had to see who this person was. So I knew of him before he even knew I existed. He met me formally at a wedding.
Right. So did he just like come up and say hi, and you were just like, oh.
Yeah. Who walked up to who? Or whom?
He,
Oh, okay.
the groom, brought him over to me.
Uh-huh.
I was invited to this wedding because I had been going with a guy from the groom's, bride and groom's group. But he went in the service, probably a month or two before this wedding. So when he came up, and then he asked me to dance after we were introduced. And then he took me home, sort of. He had a bum a ride from the people that I came with.
I didn't have a car.
Yeah.
Not yet.
And he took my number. So my attitude was, well, he's been out of circulation for a couple of years, and I had been out of circulation for 8 months, and I'm a party animal. So why not, this way he can get introduced to the gang, and I always like to have fun, so why not? So that's how we met.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
I think I know where I get it from now. I like that fun. Hi, Ma. So, was Dad a good dancer?
Oh yeah, that was on my bucket list of being a husband. Now I know it's stupid now, but at the time,
Nobody's judging, Ma.
he had to be able to dance, because I'm a party animal.
I love it. So, the first time you two danced, do you remember the song?
Oh, hell
No, but Moon River,
But what?
Moon River was kind of our song, but I don't remember at the wedding what it was.
What?
Moon River.
Yeah, you know the
Yeah,
song.
is that Moon River?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That was kind of our
Thing.
Yeah, we both did that song.
Awesome.
When I remember the first dance song that I had with them, I didn't even know the guy.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like,
mean,
she wasn't like, oh, this is the guy I'm going to marry. It's, I'm going to dance with this guy at this wedding because this is fun.
yeah, but also like maybe
I
like
didn't know he was going to ask me out either. So
yeah.
I got her phone number.
Score.
A couple of weeks, I called her up when I had a car.
So you waited a couple weeks until you got a car to
No.
call her? No.
no, I went out with him that following Saturday. And we
Damn,
were
Ma.
dancing
At
Willowbrook,
a place called Willowbrook in the Chicago area.
in Willowbrook.
In the town of Willowbrook. It was Willowbrook Down Dance Hall.
Yeah.
Huge dance hall. They had a band. Okay. And
So what year are we talking about here? Just so our listeners know.
1964.
64.
1964.
Okay.
Right. And we danced there, and I guess we went. There was always a hamburger place we would show up. when we went out on dates, I guess. What was the name of it?
Uh-oh.
I don't know. Anyway,
That was a different woman, Dad. That
the
was a
name of it
different woman.
was called Red's
Yeah.
Hamburger Place. We used to go there. Yeah.
Man, so did you guys like to like quick dance, like dance fast, or did you like to slow dance better? Huh?
Both.
Oh, better?
Yeah, which one did you like more?
I don't remember.
We just like both.
Yeah.
Dancing, you know.
Yeah.
When you run out of breath and you want a slow one, yeah.
So, I mean, you guys are both in your 80s. What was it like growing up in Chicago during that time? And I'm talking like now you're just with your families growing up. Mom, I mean, you being from the big family, Dad, was
Smaller.
yeah, a little bit smaller. So,
I had 2 sisters.
whoever wants to go first with this question, feel free.
What was it like growing up in Chicago?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Well, it was but grammar school and high school. When I went to high school, I was lucky enough to get into Leo High School, which was Irish Christian Brothers. They were tough. Oh, gee, yeah. Anyway, good. And
Weren't you a swimmer there?
huh?
You were a swimmer at Leo.
Right. I was on the swimming team. And
Is that the only sport you played?
yeah. Well, that and then of course baseball, which was all not the baseball team, but sandlot baseball. With the neighborhood kids. So I hung around with a group of guys, and Ruth, I think, was different. She had a different gang that she hanged around with. So we really didn't get to know each other when we were growing up.
I don't think he was interested in girls when he was younger, but I
was in boy into sports. Yeah.
Yeah, I had fun.
Yeah.
Out there. I didn't get serious with it.
And Dad, you grew up with you're the only boy in the family. You grew up with older sisters, so it's
right.
Like why do I want another one of these bitches? I'll wait.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm just saying. Maybe that's what he thought. I don't know. Mom's laughing. That's fine. But okay, this dog.
The puppy's in here and
Yes.
she's driving us crazy.
Oh, stop. Okay. I just scared myself trying to knock down something. Okay, so Dad, you grew up with two older sisters. No, 3 older sisters. I'm sorry.
2.
Yeah, 2.
Yeah, right.
And you were the only boy. So your dad taught you how to work with your hands.
I had a little workbench down in the base. In Chicago, we had basements. Okay. All right. So he had a large workbench, and he did a lot of things. I mean, he repaired stuff in the house, took care of everything in the house. Okay. And I learned from him. So I had a little workbench, and I kind of copied what he did. I did whatever I could. I like to tinker around with stuff at that time. So
at that time, Dad, you're still great at it. And I would just like to point out that if anyone is watching, that bed that my nephew Travis is laying in behind him. Travis, say hello.
Hi.
That's Travis. That is a Murphy bed that my father built, and he could just roll off that thing, pick it up, it goes right back into the wall, and it just looks like a big shelf. And
right.
Want a demo?
Huh? No, I'm not going to make Travis get up. It's fine. It's fine. It's cool. But that was one of the many beds that I remember you building and growing up in the house. I mean, what was
you guys grew up in a bunk bed. Remember the bunk bed?
The triple.
A triple bunk bed you guys had.
Double bunk.
Yes.
You, Billy and Brian.
Double bunk with a trundle underneath. You remember that? And the messages you guys wrote in the above.
The girls did the same thing to their bunk bed.
Yeah.
Did you got? Yeah, we weren't good.
Classified.
Yeah, we're not. We shouldn't talk about some of the stuff we wrote on there. It was some fucked up shit. But yeah, we used to push Bobby and Kevin, my oldest nephews.
Yeah.
We used to wrap them up in blankets and be like, "This is gonna be just fine. You're gonna land on a mattress." So Dad built this bed. It was a bunk bed, and then it was a trundle, so you could from the bottom one you pull out, and we would push our nephews off in the blanket. We wrap them up in the blanket, kick them off, and it hurt like a son of a bitch.
Didn't somebody break their arm?
No,
Oh.
never. That was somebody else that fell down the stairs and on some bullshit. But yeah, so
that was
you,
not a good thing.
Dad. I just want to point out that I consider you a Renaissance man because growing up, I mean, you were always, if you weren't in the kitchen, you were in the garage. And if you were in the garage, you were building something out of wood or you were fixing an engine. And I just wish I had spent more time with you because I can't do any of that shit.
Do you remember the Volkswagens?
Yes.
Yeah, I think there were 3 Volkswagens.
I thought we had more than that. But
Yeah.
at one, I think at the most we had 3 at one time.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of them, I pulled the engine out. And I mean, literally, physically, pulled the engine out, lifted it up, and put it on a table and tore it apart. That thing leaked oil so bad after I finished with it. It was terrible. But it ran. It ran. Yeah.
I remember during that Volkswagen kick, we were on our way to church. We hadn't made it out of the neighborhood, and the kid at the top of the street had the green Volkswagen, and it was on fire. You stopped, got out, helped him put it out, and then like had a very short conversation with him because we were on our way to mass. And you got back in the car and he looked at me and he said, "Ruth, we just bought that."
Yeah. I don't remember that. Oh.
Yeah, I guess he gave you a fantastic deal, or you just worked them because you're like, dude, it was just on fire. You don't want this car. Whatever you said to the kid, we got it. I just remember he was kind of nerdy, had glasses, but yeah, you did that green Volkswagen, and yeah, those were so much fun. They were cold as hell. I hated riding in them.
To this day, they see him coming when it comes to a car. They see him coming. They could put the price tag on up to Elon Musk's, and he'd say, "I'll take it."
Well, it depends on the car. Dad had, what was it, a 50?
It doesn't depend on the car. Remember that Studebaker?
I was just about to bring that up. I love the Studebaker.
What?
The 52 Lark 5, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know what year it was.
It was a 52.
Yeah, well, I found that sitting in a car in a parking lot with a for sale sign on it. And I went, I bought it. I brought it home.
And you rebuilt it.
Yeah, I did a lot to that thing. And it was terrible to ride because the seats were very uncomfortable. I have no idea what whoever had it before what they did, but it was, yeah. And I'll tell you what, it got to the point where I couldn't do anything more to it, and it sat in the front in the park, parked in front of the house. And Ruth decided she's going to put flowers on it.
No, I said I'm going to plant flowers in it because it was rusting. I was going to use it for something. Then when he finally convinced him to sell it, he pulled it out into the street and put the for sale sign facing the sidewalk. What does that tell you?
He didn't want to get rid of it.
That's right.
Yeah, I love that card. Like, it was a 3 on the tree. You had that old school. You told me it was before. It was like they had these before what is it? Power steering. It was that little knob that
To
was
help
like,
turn.
yes,
Oh,
you run the,
Right.
yeah,
So I could steer it with one arm and
yeah.
hold my sweetheart with the other.
Well,
That was
see, the whole thing is,
what was the purpose?
you told me it was the whole reason that was developed. It was because it was before power steering and it helped. It was easier to turn the car. That's what you told me. And then,
He lied to
yeah,
you.
I know. I figured that out later because the little fucking knob he got, the one you had, and I wish you still had it, was an antique and it was old and kind of worn, but it was a pinup girl and Ma hated it.
Oh,
He
yeah.
hated your knob because it
Didn't
was
even
a,
like the car.
yeah.
She might have been more
Yeah.
tolerant of the knob if she liked the car.
Yeah. I love that car. And yeah, I remember when he got rid of it, it sat in that one dude's lot forever and it just died.
Oh,
What does that tell you?
yeah. It was.
It tells me it could use some more love, Ma.
What was the name of that car lot?
That was the guy who used to chase the Mexican dudes off his lot because they would come in there and try to buy the big trucks and then take them to Mexico.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, what was his
Is that the
name?
one on
I
39?
forgot his name.
Yeah.
But anyway, that Studebaker, I don't know what happened to it. He had it parked in the back lot. After I traded it in for a Cadillac.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talk about a lemon.
Talk about a lemon. That Cadillac was a lemon. I had to get rid of it. It was terrible. Right.
I don't even remember the Cadillac.
Oh,
And I didn't have
North
it.
Star engine is he kept. Maybe you were in the service.
I was in the service up until like 5 years ago, man.
Lemon, lemon. So we finally, I convinced him get rid of this thing. It's.
Yeah.
So, Dad, you grew up in Chicago. Your dad is what's your dad do? What
he was a emergency lineman for Commonwealth Edison. It was him and another guy drove a small truck, and when there were storms, they were the guys that went out and they put people's power back on, and he would do those things. He said, I would find out what was causing the problem by going down the alleys and looking for dead animals underneath the posts, because the animals would go up on top and they would short out the lines, and they were the ones that were causing the trouble. And I would find the dead bodies underneath the posts. He said, that's how I found what the problem was.
They were electrocuted.
That's how he did it. Yeah. He was a lineman for years and years and retired from that. Okay. When he fell off a line once and broke his heel. And ever since that point on, things just got worse. And eventually he died when he was 72, I think. Yeah.
I remember my only memories of him. He was already in the chair from the Parkinson's. Was it Parkinson's that finally got him?
Parkinson's took him at the end. Yeah.
And I want to bring it up because I know I've asked you to tell this story before, but didn't at one point he have some connection running booze for Al Capone?
Well, I don't know if it was Al Capone, but I do remember him telling stories about running booze from. They go up to I think it was Wisconsin. Yeah, they'd go up to Wisconsin. They would load up the car with booze, and they would fly back real fast in a car and come back to Chicago with it. That's how
for the mob.
For the mob. He was doing that on the side while he was working for Commonwealth Edison. See, not everybody knew that story.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody in the world knows now.
Yeah,
he's gone, people. He's gone.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, around Chicago that time, if you weren't running booze, you were drinking it. So
yeah, and he did. My father loved his booze. Yeah,
yep.
Drink. Yeah.
That's one. And the story I remember hearing growing up is he got out of it because his partner was found dead, or
Was
what?
there was there was one time when he found a friend of his, I don't know if it was his partner or not, hanging in the woods that I used to play in when I was growing up in the Chicago area. Yeah, there was a wooded area, okay, and this wooded area was behind the park. It was just a wooded area, and in that area, that's where he found his partner. So that, that's
Man.
yep.
I mean, if there's a reason to get out of doing something, it's
Well,
when that.
you don't want to mess with certain people.
Yeah. So
Right.
that, I mean, you grow up with grandma and grandpa, and you decide to join the army right out of high school.
No, I let's see. Let's see.
The
I
draft,
graduated in 1980,
58.
1958. Right. I graduated in 1958. Okay, and I went to a technical school for 2 years. Okay, uh, was it was
DeVry.
was DeVry. I went to DeVry, took the engineering course. Got
DeVry was around back then.
hmm?
Yeah.
Oh
What?
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
I
DeVry,
just remember the commercials.
DeVry Technical School. All right, it wasn't accredited school at that time. It was just a technical school.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I took their engineering course. When I finished the engineering course, I got hired by Hallicrafters. Hallicrafters was on Cicero Avenue, okay, and we lived in Chicago Ridge, and so I could go
No.
on Cicero.
No, you lived in Chicago.
I lived in Chicago, so I could go on Cicero and go down Cicero, and I would go by this big building every day. And I said, there was a telephone on top of the building. Okay, and I go by it, and I got worked at Hallicrafters. And the Hallicrafters decided that they were going to move their factory to down near the border in Mexico, and I decided I didn't want to do that. So I someone told me about this place, Western Electric, because she had a friend that worked at Western Electric. And I kept going by this place with the telephone on top. So I decided, well, one day went past it, turned around, went back, put my suit on, and went back and walked in the door and got hired that day. Okay.
Nice.
All right. I got hired. And I was in the quality organization with a quality engineer.
You were a QC guy.
Yeah, I was a quality engineer. Quality. I started out as a quality checker, then I became a quality engineer with Western Electric, and I worked for Western Electric for 35 years.
Wow.
And I have a different story.
Okay, we're gonna get to you, Ma. Hold on. We're
Okay.
we're talking Dad right now.
Right. And I
Try
worked,
not to interrupt, but
okay.
It's okay. I see you.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Yep.
Western Electric, 30.
35 years. 35 years with them. Ended up as a senior engineer. Okay, and traveled for the company.
Well,
Just, but
hold on, Dad. What does that job entail? Because what Ma tells me is you were the guy who told other people they were doing shit wrong.
that's right.
Okay.
And whatever. All right. I was the quality engineer, and if I walked into a meeting, a production meeting, everybody in the place would go, "Oh shit, here he is." What happened? Okay, so I would show up whenever something was found that needed to be fixed. Okay,
Okay.
and that was what my job was. Okay,
That's awesome.
I spent a lot of time walking through the factory and watching people look at it. They go, "Oh, there he is."
I remember once as a kid when after you got transferred to Oklahoma, it was like a family night something, and you took us to the plant, and we were walking around. All I just remember is seeing like these giant. It was like being in the Matrix, like these just giant electrical things, and I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I was
Those,
there for food.
those were switching units. Those were the units that would receive your telephone call, and they would switch you to whomever you wanted to talk to.
Like a
Those were
switch.
That's
switching.
great. I didn't even have to explain it. I just said big fucking thing, and you knew exactly what that was.
That's what they were.
You were
They
good
were
at your job.
They were big, huge things. Yeah, right. And I would travel the country and check into stuff that
And the world.
company was hiding stuff. Okay.
And the world. I
I
remember.
the guy said that. Okay. But they
Say
did.
what?
They're done.
Western Electric used to hide stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can say
And
it.
if there are old Western Electric people online, I did
it. Come at me, bro. Yeah, but Dad, you also used to go. I mean, I remember Thailand. No, not Thailand. Taiwan. You used to come back from Taiwan.
No, there was an opening there for a transfer, and I didn't take it.
But didn't you visit?
He used to travel like Mexico, Bolivia.
Yeah.
I remember Mexico because you used to tell him to bring home vanilla, like actual, because they had the best vanilla, like it was the real shit.
Yeah, for like a quarter.
Yeah, right?
Real stuff.
Yeah.
It was the real stuff. I think it was 25 cents.
Not a problem. That stuff, I knew what it was because I couldn't read the label. It was just like dark and plastic. That's all it was. So, Dad, you when did you join the Army?
Let's see. When did I join the Army?
62.
62, was it? Yeah, 62. 1962. And I was working for Helicrafters, and they were talking about moving to down to the border near Mexico, and I did like that, so I joined the Army.
Can I jump in here?
Yeah, of course.
That was when the draft was still happening.
Oh yeah.
And he knew his number was coming.
Yeah. Right. I knew my number.
So he pushed his number up because your options were better if you enlisted than if you waited for your name to come up. And you were just out of DeVry, I think, at that time. And can I go back to him going to Western Electric?
Yes.
It was not him passing this place and looking up at it.
But I like that story.
Too bad. It's a lie.
Oh, no, I wish to go by.
Yeah. Time out.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm talking.
Okay.
We had gotten married and I got pregnant right away. At that point in time, I was making more money than he was, and raising a family on his income was not feasible. So I was suggesting to him to find another job. Yeah. And he does not like to be told what to do. So he dismissed anything that I ever said. And one day I happened to mention him. I had coffee with Gwen one morning, and her boyfriend works at Western Electric, and they're hiring. And I just said it as matter of fact, not expecting him to follow through on it.
Okay.
I get a call at work, and he's like, I'm taking a half a day off, and I'm going to see
Get drunk. No.
apply for a job there.
That was after he applied.
Yeah.
And that's where he got the job. Also, which he eliminated from his history, was after he had joined Western Electric, he went back to school at Illinois Institute of Technology, the finest in the country, to further his education. If he passed each semester. We paid for it originally, but the company reimbursed if you pass with a C or above, I think. So
hell yeah, C students, let's go, Dad.
And he had the incentive because we were having kids. So
yeah,
I mean, that's what prompted him to do those things.
love it.
So
I love it. So, Dad, you joined the Army, and you push your draft number up, but you end up going to serving your time in Germany, right?
Yeah, I was originally trained at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, as a missile crewman. I was given a little crank to turn at the end of a launch pad to raise his corporal missile. Okay, that was how I was trained. When I got to Germany, they said we got enough people with cranks. He said, you're going to be a surveyor. So they sent me to Grafenwehr, Germany, in waist deep snow, and I learned how to be a surveyor. Okay, and
survivor.
I learned how to be a surveyor, and from that point on, I was part of a 5-man crew, and we maintained war positions along the Czech border. I lived in the woods most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Maintaining war positions along the Czech border. Okay.
And weren't you?
I loved it. I mean, it was fun. I mean, we had a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I would have if it's just you and your bros in the woods hanging out. As long as you got food, and I'm sure you guys were sneaking booze.
Oh well, I'll tell you what. The kids in in those neighborhood towns always knew we were coming for some reason. They would show up with their bicycles. Okay.
Everyone knew
Right. And we would give them these sea rations, and they would come back with beer and cheese. Okay. Okay. And then we would dig a hole, put a poncho down in the hole, and that would keep the beer. Beer didn't have to be cold. It was so good. We had to be careful with what towns we were in, because some of the beer that they made was awful bad. But anyway, yeah, we did.
You were in these woods when Kennedy was shot.
Yes,
yeah.
right. And that
give a timeline to it.
No, I was not.
No,
and we found out about Kennedy at I was at the Concern, and we were at a basketball game, an intramural basketball game with the different guys, and they stopped the game and they announced it.
Oh,
and right after they announced it, the sirens went off, and bam, we were out in the woods. Yeah, we stayed out there for quite a while.
You would have think that you would have gotten
the idea what was going to happen.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, yeah, everything, the whole world is, I mean, with the missile crisis that happened shortly before that, and yeah, I bet that was scary shit.
Take him long to light a match underneath one of those missiles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then back. So,
yeah.
Whew, that's a hell of a time, Dad, and I'd love to hear it. And thank you so much, Mom. We're gonna move over to you, and we're gonna talk about how you grew up. Your turn. Let's go. What was it like growing up in Chicago in the 40s?
Number one, it was very safe.
Okay.
I mean, I was ringing doorbells when I was in grammar school, probably 3rd or 4th grade, because I wanted to take piano lessons. Didn't have a piano, but my grandma did. She lived about 10 blocks away. So anyway, in order for me to have piano lessons, I had to pay for it myself. So I started selling Christmas cards, birthday cards, get well cards, wrapping paper, that kind of stuff, door to door. And it was safe back then. You could.
Where did you get that stuff from?
It was at Craft Chicago, which was up on Western Avenue, 50 something and Western. And back then, I mean, I went everywhere on the bus. I didn't drive till I was 30. We used to go to Rainbow Beach. My mom would let us go, and we'd take the bus all the way down there
79th
and
Street.
back. 76.
76.
Anyway, close.
6, 9, what's the difference?
But like I said, we had a pretty carefree childhood. But being from a large family, we had to get our work done before we could go out.
And you are in the top half of 8.
Yeah, I'm 4.
Yeah, you're number 4 of 8. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Grandma lost her last child, so there should have been 9.
Yeah.
I don't, and even then I was always been very social. So
Party animal.
Yeah, I started early.
Yeah. But I remember you talking about growing up. I mean, and Dad, the same way. This is the way the houses were built back then. But to have 8 people, I mean, 10 with
people.
mom, grandma and grandpa, and only have 1 bathroom.
Right.
Yeah.
We were timed.
Yeah,
We were
because
timed.
you guys used to yell at us all the time about that.
Yeah. And I mean, and this wasn't we didn't have the shower. It was a tub. I made money that way too, because my brothers didn't like to clean the tub. So I'd clean the tub and they'd give me a dime. Now, our first house, the bathroom was upstairs and we didn't have hot water tanks in those days. We had to carry the water up, pour it into the tub, and then you're going to get done real quick because the water.
So you guys are heating up water on the stove or the oven top and then walking it. Okay.
Yeah. Not that we did, our parents did.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, how many
burns?
Yeah.
Those stairs.
We had a hot water tank in the house.
Dad's like, money.
But we still only had 1 bathroom. We had 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And we lived by, I'll never forget when we went, after we moved here and we went back to Chicago for Christmas or whatever and spent a week or 2. And my mother came after me because you kids were taking showers. And she's like, didn't you teach your kids how to do Army showers? And I thought, not in January. And I thought, oh boy, this is something to consider before we come back here.
Yeah. And I don't know if everyone knows, but I mean, Mom and Dad are now living in Oklahoma. That's where we moved shortly when I was growing up. Yeah, 1986. So sorry to cut you off, Ma. Yeah.
Okay.
So Grandma gets mad at us because we're taking long showers in the house.
Yeah. And I'm kind of a frugal person, and I definitely got that from my mother. I mean, no matter what you do to make money, she always told you put something away. So, I'd get on the bus and go put $5 in Pulaski Savings and Loan. But it paid off because when I married this guy, 2 weeks before we got married, I bought him a car. I say us, but I didn't even drive at that time.
This is my favorite part because I love this car and it makes me upset also because you didn't keep it. What was it again?
The red Chevy.
Red Chevy. It was a 4-door?
2-door.
2-door Chevy coupe. It
I
had
thought it was
6-cylinder engine, and I had to pay extra to put a radio in it. I mean, it was.
I had to pay extra.
She had to pay extra. And we took that out of our honeymoon.
Yeah,
65 Chevy. And we're not. We'll get into the honeymoon and stuff later. So
hard to get a Chevrolet.
You're growing up hauling, my grandma and grandpa are putting water in the tub in the first house, and then what was the ratio? What was the ratio of siblings in the house for you?
There were 8 total.
Yeah, male to female.
Oh,
5 brothers, 2 sisters.
Oh,
so 3 girls, 5 boys.
Yeah. Okay. I was just letting everyone know that's kind of.
Uncle Jimmy wasn't born until we lived on 115th place. So there were only 7 kids in our first house.
Okay. and then went up to 8. And then what was um you told me one I'd like to say, Dad, I know you're a sports fan too and you're athletic, but uh Ma has always been the
I'm
loudest.
a sports fan that I am.
Yeah. She's always been the loudest sports fan. And I remember you telling a story about Grandpa Ryan once being offered the job to referee for the Harlem Globetrotters.
Right. And that's where I got my love for sports, because Grandpa, as a second job, did baseball, football, basketball, to allow more income, because all of us, we all went to Catholic schools, so you had to pay tuition. And the joy of that was, for both Mom and us, we got to go with him to these games. And I just fell in love with it. I mean, he did high school, college, and then because he was so honest and fair, he got inducted into the Hall of Fame in Illinois for referees in Normal. That was shortly after we were married.
Right. We went down there for
But they did ask him if he would go. But Aunt Loretta was only like a year old, and he just didn't want to be away from her for a year and leave Mom with all of us kids.
Yeah.
So it had to be a real sacrifice for him, because holidays, we ate at halftime. Dad had, and we didn't even have television right away, but my dad had his games and my mom planned dinner around the break. So, I mean, it's just, and mom hated sports.
But she loved Grandpa.
And yeah, and I mean, she took the money and everything, but even, I mean, Aunt Loretta used to go and work the concession stand for her younger brother, or her brothers, I shouldn't say younger, because my mom hated it, anything to do with sports. But not me, man. I planned my around it.
But I remember, I mean, especially, I mean, Chicago, the 90s, the Bulls. And of course, we're watching it in Oklahoma, but Dad, I remember, like, whenever the games were close, Dad would get up and find his way to the bathroom or the kitchen or something.
Yeah. Attention.
Yeah, yeah, I don't blame you.
For them too, because I mean, when I was working, this was before I knew him. We'd be at work and a couple of us would say, let's go to a Bulls game. Or, I mean, we were always at Comiskey Park, but it was affordable back then.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been to Wrigley, but not nearly as much as the old Comiskey. There'll never be another Comiskey. I don't care what they call it.
No. You're so right. I still got the snow globe that I gave you that you gave back to me, sitting over here.
Yeah.
So other than that, I did girly things too. We had girl clubs and everything where we'd probably gossip and eat cupcakes and drink pop.
I'm not going to let you get away with this because I'm getting it on record. Back when we lived in Oklahoma, Dad had purchased a 8mm what is it? The camera, yeah, because he had found, yeah. You guys had some old 8mm film from back when you guys, I guess, were gifted a camera for your wedding.
I gave it to our second Christmas.
Right.
I gave it to Dad for.
And I want to point out that I remember sitting in the living room in Oklahoma and we're watching this, and you guys are at like a wedding, but it's like a reception in a basement of a house. And the camera pans, and all I see is my mother sitting there with the longest cigarette. Brian, say hi.
Hello.
That's my brother Brian. Everyone, if you're listening or seeing.
That was at Loretta's house, I believe.
Yeah.
We were eating dinner at the dining room table, I can tell you the blouse I had on. And I thought I had hidden it from you all these years, and somebody noticed it. And I thought,
I only bring it up because I remember it was just because I had started smoking young. I mean, I grew up with these dudes. Look at him back there. And they always smoked, so I thought I was cool and I would try and smoke too. And then you got onto me for it, and then I watched this film and I was like, ha, hold on, because you never told me. I had no idea that you had ever smoked.
well, why should I?
Yeah,
Actually,
exactly.
started before you did. I started in 8th grade.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Me too.
So you're going
because of, well, I did not smoke when I was pregnant with Kathy. I smoked when I was pregnant with Margaret Mary. She was smaller. And I had heard that it affects the fetus. So I vowed that if I ever got pregnant again, I would quit smoking. So when I got pregnant with Beth, I quit and I never went back.
Which leads me to my next question on my book is, why 9 kids? Because I'm the youngest.
Dumb?
I mean, we end with perfection, but
Honey,
what?
they're Catholic.
What? I don't.
And she loved your dad.
Why not? I'm just saying.
We're on overtime.
I'll tell you what one of our doctors told me. For Christ's sake, Jim Deneen, close that blanket over you.
It's all his fault.
I've heard differently.
No, Ma said it's not his fault.
Oh, I thought she said it's all his fault.
Yeah, it's all his fault.
It's all his fault.
No, it's not. No, I heard differently too. I heard, Ma, it's you that was loving Dad.
You wanted a big family, and you were.
It all goes back to faith.
Okay. Yeah, praying that one day they'll hit perfection, and they did with number 9. Me. Never got quiet. Yeah. Sorry, that joke.
Never. I mean, he never gave me a hard time about anything. Especially, I mean, we had 3 girls first, and he was the end of the line. If we don't have it, but he never made me feel like, girls. I mean, he would have been okay if we had 9 girls, and it's not like that's why we had 5 boys. It's just, this is what married couples do. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Okay. I just was asking. I wanted to know and get it on record because I love you guys. And it's just great to see that you guys are still it was just so much love, because there were some hard times.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, Dad, I mean,
we have our moments.
Memory's fading.
We're normal. We have our moments.
Yeah.
When they're...
Ask them what's normal.
No. Because it will be different from mine. So.
Oh, that's true.
So, Ma, you graduate from high school, and where do you go from there?
I went downtown to work because that was a big deal, and started out at Northern Trust Bank. And then I couldn't stand it after a couple of years. So I quit dumb before I found another job. But I found another job right away. Back then, a job was easy. Of course, it's a lot different now. I mean, there we had to wear white gloves when you go and buy. Women did not wear slacks. Everything was dress. You wore hats and everything for the interview. So hokey now. But, and that's when I went to Quaker Oats, they hired me right away. So, and I loved it there. Worked in advertising and accounting, which was very, very interesting. And in fact, because I worked there, we got on our honeymoon tickets to the Johnny Carson show because we went to New York. and that was
No.
like a bonus.
They were at a TV.
So,
Tell us that story.
oh, I should say, because it with Johnny Carson.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
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 Mom told me last time.
Was the guest.
Who? Sorry, go ahead.
Randall.
Tony Randall.
Tony Randall was the guest.
The
So
guest.
there's a video out there because they've uploaded, I'm sure, like all the episodes of the Johnny Carson show somewhere. So there's that episode with Tony Randall as a guest. You guys are in the audience.
Audience, right.
So what year was this around?
64?
1965.
Yep.
April of 65. Or the early May, because we were gone 2 weeks, and I don't remember exactly. You know,
Is that why?
I remember that.
it was probably
You said working in advertising and marketing was very interesting.
advertising and accounting. Actually, we were the accounting end, but we paid the bills for advertising and, checked to make sure we weren't getting bamboozled and that kind of stuff. Made out the budgets and.
You like the math part of it? That's what made it interesting, or
Oh, yeah, that's what I was. And at the bank, I had run an IBM machine, and of course, piano lessons helped. So that when I ran the 10 keys and everything, my boss always used to come over and have me do it because I didn't have to look. It was just, and ordinarily it came out correct. I won't say
when you say run the 10 keys, what is that?
and had
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's like
I didn't know.
like a calculator, but a little different. Like it has the tape that comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's crazy. I didn't
We
know.
also had the calculator, with that moved back and forth and all that stuff. But I moved up to that later.
Wow. So
In fact, my boss, who was excellent, he was strict, but he was the best educator I ever had. And he died while he was on jury duty.
Oh.
And I was left in charge.
was he on jury duty? Was it a mob case and they offed him or
I had
something?
no idea. He died while he was gone. I never asked him. I just remember walking into work one day and they told me that he had passed away. So I had to train the next boss.
Wow.
You had to.
Yeah.
And then he got paid more than you, even though you trained him.
Oh, totally. I mean, back then it was different.
Yeah.
But I left a few months later because back then you had to leave when you were pregnant at X months. So I had to leave there in September.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay. And
job, but
you say that, but and having 9 kids, but I always remember you working. If if it wasn't at what was the
Lexington House?
Lexington House, that's what it was. And I'm going to tell this story because to this day, I'm still waiting for this. I went there with you, probably one of the many times that you brought me. But I left with a red balloon, and we got home, and I shut the car door on the ribbon of the balloon, and it snapped it and it flew away. And I was like upset about it. And you told me that when I die, not when I die, but like Jesus is going to hold the red balloon for you. And I sat there and looked up and waited until it went away. So I got a balloon in heaven waiting for me.
There you go. Maybe you're going to need that to lift you up.
You know what, Matt? And if it's not there, I'm going to come fucking find you and be so upset that you lied to me.
I may not be there.
Shit. It's going to be you, me, and Jesus in a damn room. We're going to be talking about a fucking love balloon. Yeah.
Don't count on it.
Yeah. Yeah, not when I'll meet you there.
Okay. Promise?
Yes. So, okay, you always worked though. Like even after marrying Dad, like I remember you were always either like you ran a babysitting
daycare.
Yeah, daycare.
That's when I met y'all. That's what she was doing.
Yeah.
In Oklahoma, I did.
Yeah.
But I didn't always work. I started working. I went back to work when Billy was a year old, nights.
My older brother, who's
yeah. So that Dad was home with you kids while I was gone.
I don't remember
and
that.
I needed, but the girls were going to Catholic high schools, which I had to pay tuition. I couldn't pull it out of Dad's salary.
Mm-mm.
So I went back a year before I needed it. So the money I made that year, I paid back all my kids that I had borrowed from, and I kept an account of it. When you had birthdays and all that stuff, I kept account of how much I borrowed. So that year, I paid back all my kids because the following year I needed that money for tuition. I went because I had to find something, and I wanted to know, how much do I have to do to make that tuition? Dad was tired of working 2 jobs, or sometimes 3. So, that's how that came about. But I did not work all my married life.
Yeah, but I mean, you did. I mean, there was so much done.
Like you always had a hustle.
Yeah.
Like laundry.
Oh, yeah.
You did somebody's laundry. You did somebody's
people and
ironed.
Yeah,
the ironing. I remember that blue unicorn fucking blanket in the kitchen. Coming home from school, if do not step on the blanket because that usually meant there was a hot iron on the ironing board, which the ironing board was standing on the blanket. And other days would just be you would be there ironing. I'd come home from school and there's always baseball on. There's always sports on, and it always used to confuse me because we'd be watching the Cubs because we're not Cubs, we're Sox, but you would tell me like I just root for the other team. So plus it's sports. You just
the Cubs were about the first team ever advertised. That actually they show on TV, so everybody assumed we were Cubs fans when we moved here. Mm-hmm. Sox weren't televised like the Cubs. Don't know why. Don't care.
Exactly.
But anyway, that's why I'm just a sports fan. I'd rather have my sports than the stupid
soap
operas and all that.
Ma, how do you feel about the automatic runner? Sorry, I'm not talking about the automatic runner on second base. And
it sucks. It's stupid. It ruins the game.
Yeah.
It ruins the game. But nobody asked me.
I just asked you, and I'm glad I got it on record.
Have you got any influence?
Me? No. I cannot watch, or just watch the game up until it gets to like extra innings and then stop watching the show. I don't know.
Whatever possessed them, they took the originality out of the game.
I think the TV networks probably had something to do with that.
Of course, it's a money gig thing. If you shorten the games, you got more time to put on something else that someone else wants to watch.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Anyway, let's get past that. So, Ma, you were still hustling when we moved to Oklahoma. Dad, you got transferred out of Chicago to Oklahoma while working for AT&T, right? That's what happened.
Yeah, right. They were closing the factory. Hawthorne Works was closing, and I think it was 83, and then they moved me to Bell Labs in Lisle, Illinois, and I worked there for a couple of years, and then I'd be on the plane every other month or so, headed to Oklahoma because they were making the switch units there, and I was the quality guy that always
sure they're doing it right.
Always caused trouble. Anyway, so they would send me there, and then finally they said, "Hey, you need to transfer." So they transferred me.
Because eventually he was spending more time down here than home.
Yeah.
He was only coming back like every few weeks for the weekend. And
I remember at one point, I had kind of asked you about, you know, living in Chicago compared to Oklahoma, and because I don't know, I didn't really have much of a memory of Chicago. I was only 6 years old when we moved, um, but you said you loved Oklahoma because when your father comes back from Chicago, his collars are just covered in just dirt because the air is so bad, the pollution and whatnot. He's like,
Oh,
so you loved how like
Clean.
open and clean Oklahoma was when we got down there.
yeah, it
We're
was.
growing, I might add. We're growing. Oklahoma City is not what it used to be.
Oh no, I mean you got a freaking team in the you know
Yeah.
playoffs right now, which I
Yeah.
know we won't keep you too much longer because I know you got to get ready to watch that game. But I don't want to ask about the Thunder because I know at heart you are a Bulls fan, but you've lived in Oklahoma so long, you I
Yeah,
know you're going for them.
of course. Of
Dad,
course.
who you going for?
He's going to
I,
bed at 9 o'clock. He don't care who's playing.
I'm Dad.
I make it to about 9 o'clock, and I can't stay awake anymore. I've got to go to
He
bed.
does the same thing.
Oh,
I'm gone.
I try. It's just I'm up early. I'm just up early. I hang out
Yeah.
with the dogs and do stuff, and then it's time to go to bed. But did you have
Yeah,
anything else
I
for
have a
them?
little
Stacy's
game.
got some stuff for you.
All right, so I'm going to say something. You have to tell me who he gets it from.
okay.
You guys understand?
The bad stuff from his father, the good stuff.
Okay. Singing ability and love of music.
Wait,
Me?
are you saying I'm a good
Who's
singer?
he? Yes.
Oh,
Who do you get that from?
Me? Music?
Music? You
Not me.
So, Mom.
remember Jonah? Oh, Jonah.
yeah. I played Jonah the whale or Jonah in Jonah and the Whale, and
Because he could sing. He had a good voice.
yeah, in what was that? Vacation Bible School.
Bible school.
I
Yeah.
and that if you remember the first day I sprinted from, they had to come find me. I turned myself back in. I didn't want to be there. Yeah, because I got the main part and they gave me all these like I had to memorize all these freaking songs.
Yeah.
I think there were like 6 songs I had to memorize. And then yeah, I ran.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. No, I'm Matt. If I get my love of music from you, thank you, because
Right.
I love
That's not
music.
for me because I'm
Yeah,
not.
Dad. Hold on. There was one time when I was in high school. After you bought me my stereo that had the record player on it and an 8 track and a cassette at the church garage sale for like $5, and I had that thing forever. I discovered all the brothers and sisters, freaking
Albums.
vinyls, yeah, and but one time I was blasting, I think Sublime, and you were yelling and couldn't get a hold of me, and finally I opened up the door and got a hold of me. And as I was shutting the door, I heard Dad say, "I don't know, but at least he was listening to something good." It was Sublime, so it was pretty funny. But
Oh,
thank you, Ma. I love
You're,
music.
me too.
All right. Now, I know you both can cook. Where did he get his lack of ability to cook from?
I can't do it.
From everybody else cooking for him.
That makes sense.
I'm the
This man can,
baby.
and everybody did all of that for you.
That wasn't my fault. I just never needed to learn how to cook. Like I could
Listen,
do the
word up. If you can read, you can cook. No more excuses.
yes, mother. Next question.
Sense of humor.
You guys are fantastic cooks. I would again, same thing. Like same with you, Ma. Ma, you did teach me how to iron. I wish I'd spent more time with
Yeah, I
Dad
don't
in the
know how to iron.
garage.
He can iron.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I can do that. But I wish, other than just sitting in the kitchen and smelling,
The
or just
food.
in the house and smelling, yeah, what's coming. I should have learned better because they're like Brian can cook, Billy can cook. I don't know if anyone. I mean, Margaret does pastries and shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know where the fuck I
You
can't.
got right out of high school, so you never spent. You
Yeah.
know, the army took care of you. You ate every day. You didn't have to. For
I
some,
ate or drank every day. It was dependent.
well, we won't get into that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we might just a tiny bit.
Yeah. She's
That
got
could
the
have
questions.
No, that could have come from either side.
Yeah. So, sense of humor. Who does he get his sense of humor from?
Definitely his mother. His father doesn't have a sense of humor. Do you?
No.
Dad's got great jokes. They're very dry.
I don't.
Dad, hold on. There was one time you caught me smoking. It wasn't caught. It was allowed at the time as long as we had the back door open. I was smoking a cigarette in the garage, but I was actually further in and I shouldn't have been. You came in, caught me, and you like looked down and I looked down, and then we both looked up and you looked back down again and you bent over and you grabbed this wood chip because I mean it's your garage, this is your workplace. And you looked at me and held it to my face and you said, "Oh, I thought it was a roach." Immediately in my mind, I'm thinking Dad just picked up a cockroach until you then said, like, put it in my face and said, "Want to smoke it?" And I went blank. Like, what the? No, I think was what I said. And you just laughed and dropped it and walked back inside the house. I'm
I
like,
know.
did my dad just ask me to smoke weed?
He was trying to get you to confess.
Yeah, that I smoked. Yeah. It was one of the two. It scared me and made me laugh at the same time. It was hilarious. Because I had no idea you knew what a roach was.
He
Oh,
never
other than,
told me.
yeah, other than a cockroach. Like Dad's talking about a fucking cockroach. He's not talking about
oh
the
yeah.
end of a damn joint. So
Oh,
that was hilarious. So yeah, I mean, Matt, I love running my jokes by you, because you think I'm hilarious.
I always said if you didn't go in the army, you could have made it as a stand-up comic.
yeah. Could have. Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
can
make it. I don't know.
can twist
I don't
anything.
think. Huh?
You can twist anything.
Thank you, Ma. I love you.
Love you too.
All right. Where does he get his ability to hold a grudge?
Oh shit.
Me? A grudge? Oh, yeah.
I think he could hold a grudge for like 30, 40 years if he needed to.
Oh,
Easy.
Easy, easy.
definitely not me.
I don't.
Definitely
I have
not
no
me.
idea.
Hold on. You
Good memory.
guys.
Like memory, I guess. I
Yeah.
just.
Now let's talk
I can't
about.
I have a hard time justifying.
Let's talk about how you felt when you were my age, not where you're at now, because you guys are the most forgiving, loving people in the world. I mean, you were back then too, but also you weren't. So, you
Yeah,
must
I
have
had my
felt,
moments. I
yeah.
had my moments where I didn't like certain people for certain things they did. But you know, when you hold a grudge, you're only hurting yourself because they don't give a damn.
Right. Right.
So
That's so true.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they fear you. You can
no,
make them fear you.
No.
no.
Okay. I
Like I
don't
said,
know.
they don't give a damn. You're only hurting yourself. Let it go.
But I like to relive beating them
There-
up in my mind.
Sometimes there is karma. You should wish it.
Dad. From
I
Dad.
think you got it from Dad. He laughed at
Yeah.
that. Okay, so we already know about the love of sports, TV, and movies. And I know he's not the only one of your children that does this, but he can recite movies, lines, directors, and I'm not a TV watcher, so he gets so frustrated with me. Like, you know this movie? Nope, never seen it. Yes, you have. Nope, never seen it.
I can tell her when she has seen it.
That was from you hanging around with your brother who came to church today to sit with his father. and we go for donuts afterwards, and he's sitting there on his phone showing us. I don't even remember the movie that I never even heard of about 10 years ago. But Billy can come in and he can verbatim tell you what the next line is. You could say
this is just a.
Yeah, Billy and I used to watch movies all the time.
So this is just a you and Billy thing, not like all of the siblings.
I mean, they know, like Bobby knows movies. I mean, Mike knows movies.
It was you
Brian,
and your group.
Yeah, but
and that whole gang, because I mean, I think John Mason's the same way. They can just repeat. Yeah. They'd be Sean, and they'd sit there, and they'd be Blazing Saddles is on. I don't know why, because they recite it as it's happening.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I've never seen the movie. So.
All right.
But you've heard it word for word.
I'm not a movie person. Stacey, guess we're a lot alike.
I just can't. I have too many things to do, and I can't sit there for that long. I'm wasting too much time. I don't have the attention span for it. I just can't.
I brought her to movies and she's fallen asleep.
I have. If I'm sitting still that long, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
He got so frustrated.
It was Star Wars Rogue One. It was great when it originally came out. It was great. Anyway, we won't get into it. Oh, it's so much better now with Andor. Anyway, sorry.
Okay, so Dad already said patience, but my question is his lack of patience or his temper. Where does that come from?
Oh,
definitely
me.
Pops.
Yeah. I get to a point where I just explode. Yeah, you know it.
And
you
John,
know it. Oh, yeah.
Corral it now, because it only gets worse.
Oh, yeah.
I'm working on it.
He's gotten better.
Good.
Right. Turn around, walk away.
Yeah.
Take your own advice.
Yeah. That's the best thing to do. Right.
I know.
And don't,
all right, last one.
And don't let it sit on your mind. Don't think about it. Walk away from it, because it's going to hit you, and you're going to pow. It'll go. So
you don't want to be on the other end of the telephone line when he calls to ask a question.
Shit. Those poor people.
Those people can't get paid enough, okay?
Right. Like this morning. Was it this morning or
yesterday?
Yesterday. I for the life of me, I don't understand how they work my American Express. And when they pay my American Express, I still have that balance in there. You said that it was paid. Why is it still there? And I kept going over and over and over again, and I just get upset with it.
Yeah.
It's still there.
I hate repeating myself, and
well, or like just the idea of the idea of having to call like the doctor's office or try to get through to the doctor's office. He's already losing his mind before he's even made the call.
Yeah, because you don't get a person anymore.
Yeah.
You cannot
I know I'm going to be frustrated once I try and make this phone call. So I'm already frustrated at the fact that I'm about to be frustrated.
Yeah, right. But you got to do it anyway.
Right.
Yeah. I know. That's why I do things now. Like I told her today, we bought this shelf thing that we're going to, put things on, because that's what you do with shelves. And I was like, I'm going to do that tomorrow when you're at work, because you know how I am or how I get when I start fucking putting things together. I get frustrated and I say mean things. And she's the kind of person that
do that while she's gone, then while she's there, then she's got to listen to that.
Exactly. Right. But she's the kind of person that wants to help. But when I'm in that mood, I just want to be mad at this thing. I don't want to
Right.
Yeah.
It's your attitude going into it. You're already frustrated before you start.
Exactly.
I'm sorry I taught you that.
It's all right, Dad. I think it ends with me. We got it. So don't worry. But I just wanted to let you know, Allie did get me something, and you have a little bit of competition now. Because
I says number one dad.
Yeah.
Wow. Already? It's not until next week.
Yeah, she has like 3 or 4 things, so she wanted to give him one yesterday.
Nah, I'm kidding, Dad. There's no way I can outdo you ever, unless I start like
And Emily's got a
I can
birthday.
I can colonize Mars.
Do
and
what?
That would outdo Dad.
Emily's birthday is Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. She'll be 19.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
uh,
I know. She
how's
was
your mom?
4 when you met her. She was 4.
Dang.
Yep.
I remember that.
Long time.
Yeah.
Well, you guys don't go anywhere, but we're gonna wrap up the show, so I'm gonna stop recording. But I still want to talk. Uh, thank you so much for being here. I love talking with you, and this has been so much fun. The story's been great.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else to say to the world before we go?
Yeah. I miss all you kids.
Miss you too.
Every
We
one
miss-
of them.
Yeah, we don't travel much anymore, so probably not
We
going
need to travel.
Yeah.
around the world.
We don't go very far.
Well,
We go to the store, and that sort of thing. But unless somebody's driving, we just don't. We're getting too old for that. So we got to take it easy.
but we're in good shape for the shape we're in, and we're very blessed.
We are
Yeah.
very.
It's
We
not-
have friends that are pushing carts around.
Yeah.
And
They're
I mean, you guys still.
robotic.
they're robotic
we
because
are
they got
doing good.
everything replaced, and
You guys were still boogieing down at Bobby's wedding
Yeah.
not a couple years ago.
Yeah.
How long ago was that? Not too.
What? 22?
Yeah. Yeah. You guys were still
No.
dancing out there.
August of, or when was it?
Bobby's wedding.
Bobby's wedding. Was that 21? 22.
oh, Bobby's.
Yeah.
22. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah, that
as
was 22.
same
You guys
year.
were out there dancing.
Bill got married in March and
Yeah, March of 22. And then he was what, August or September or something?
September. Yeah.
Yeah, of 22.
So thank you guys so much. Don't go anywhere.
Oh, you're gonna play music now so we can dance?
Yeah.
Oh, no,